Give me my happy box. I want my happy box. Make me happy.
And then you get money, Nick. Money is here.
Money. Money makes everyone happy. Let's be honest. It sounds like right now, the real hero, the real untold story is Fassad.
Welcome to the Spin Dash Retro Gaming Podcast. Prepare yourself for the joy of classic gaming. Fired straight into your delicate little ear holes. Fire away.
Bananas!
Banana.
Let's attack this. Let's attack this fucking slut.
Already. It's getting going.
Oh my god.
What's going on?
At least they killed the cunt at the beginning.
Well, we're way too early for that. We're way too
Nick, jumping around.
the most heartfelt thing ever. Nick's just dropping C-bombs on her.
Always. It took 30 seconds for the first C-bomb this time.
Sorry, I have a headache. I'm stressed.
You need to do a little smoky, Nicholas.
I so need. If you want to stop by my house on the way to Final Haven, just drop off a pound.
I gave you a bag.
That was a while ago, John. That's a while ago.
Welcome to Spin Dash. We are a podcast.
No, we're not. We're just three drunks.
What a joke.
We sometimes talk about video games, Nick's proclivities, Matt's masochism, and my hatred for anime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This week, we will be talking about the infamous Mother 3, fan translation, and Terry Crews' favorite.
Is Terry coming?
No, he didn't respond by message. Very
Nick,
sad.
you missed that.
John, how's it feel being stood up?
Yeah, I'm used to it. Yeah.
We were talking about this, Nick, because I don't know if you saw this, but like, if for some random reason Terry decided he was like going to join us, we'd have to like postpone this episode and then actually prepare, unlike all our other episodes. Like, it would be a big deal.
You know how I prepared, John? I just get completely blitzed out of my head. So I would not change anything. Nothing would change.
Terry could host the episode for us. And we could just leave. He just takes it over.
It's one way to get followers.
He's a great actor. I like Terry.
He's a funny
like
guy.
Terry.
So, guys, what do we got for pickups this week? 2 weeks.
I got nothing. I'm poor. I need to start trading again.
What's the dump been doing? What's up with the dump?
Nothing.
Well, he moved out of that one. Did you? No, the Standish dump was the good one. That's right.
Yeah. It just hasn't been. I think because of COVID, like everyone, like even if they're cleaning out their shit, they're just like, oh, I'll keep this. I can make some money off it because it's just such a high demand, like you see on Facebook Marketplace or whatnot. So, but I'm gonna save some shekels, like $20-$30, and take it to a yard sale. There's a big yard sale that's happening August 12th.
All right.
In Cumberland. So a lot of rich people drop off their stuff for this yard sale to raise money for a cat shelter, and they usually take the kids their old stuff. Last year, the year before, I got a PS2, a Wii, and Pokemon Pearl for like $30.
So you got these items from the charity and then flipped them and made more money.
No, I didn't. I have all of them. I still have all three. Well, sorry.
Solid.
I did actually sell the Wii, but only because I got my friend gave me his Wii.
Oh, fair enough.
And I was like, I have a spare, and I sold that, and I think I bought a bunch of Sega games actually with that. Yeah, I did. I think that was like part of like my 6 Sega games I bought. So it went back into there.
Nick, I have something for you, by the way, but I can't make it down. Well, I have this memory stick full of fun.
Memory stick full of fun. It has porn.
Literally, John, you got a commission for 2 weeks, but you have a small amount of time, John, to tell me what PS2 games you're thinking of. You really have until like what, Nick? July 24th to figure that. He's at
July 23rd because that night that day you'll be coming down.
So between now and July 24th, you got to think of if you want any PS2 games. Put some dibs in there.
I got one for the year. I'm good.
You good? Tapped out?
Yep.
I put Mr. Mosquito in there.
Yes. Oh. So dumb.
John, do you have any pickups?
Yes. I got Cart 64 and Star Fox 64.
Nice.
From a gentleman in town through Marketplace. I bought a copy of Cart like a while ago from some dumpy place and, got it in a bundle and it didn't work. And I tried my usual methods, but I don't know what else to do. So I think it's just a cart that could you like Frankenstein it and put some stuff in there?
Well, you can
next time I see you, save it. I want to tinker.
Yeah,
with
you can check out some. You can see how the soldering is, and you can actually make sure the soldering, because sometimes the soldering can crack on the games.
Yep.
Well, I could use the shell and do like a copy of game, right? Like one of the ones that got made after. You see like these fan made games that are in a shell.
You could use the shell for it.
Yeah.
You need a new board.
Yep.
You have to. Yeah. I don't know. Before you go to that length, let me look at it.
Yeah. No, that's it for me, Matt. What about you? What do you got?
Well, let's just talk about the big deal here. I finally got a new computer. So
is it in? Are we talking
about it? We are on the new computer. I had to do it.
Nice.
So while part of the problem that I ran into, like getting ahead on our game of the week, which we'll discuss ahead, is like the computer died. So I spent 2 nights. I wasted 2 nights trying to get my computer functioning so I could edit Silhouette Mirage. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to get this episode pushed out on time because my computer's a piece of garbage. So yeah, I had to fork out. It didn't make it, Nick. It's got.
How long did you have that computer though?
2011 or 2012, somewhere in that range.
So it's a 10-year-old computer.
It doesn't owe me anything, but I am sad.
I mean, that's a pretty good length of time for a laptop.
Sony Vaio, yep. But my more exciting pickup than the laptop, because who doesn't have a laptop, right? I bought an X Station, which is an optical drive emulator for my Sony PlayStation.
Nice.
So
you ripped into that bad boy, right?
What's that?
You ripped into it.
Well, we were talking about this because we just came back. I had a weekend. We went out to dance camp and stuff and hung out. And I can't remember the name of the effect, but it's kind of like Dunning-Kruger, I think is what it is. Like
I've heard of that.
It's like your confidence keeps going up until you realize what you don't know. And then your confidence like completely plummets because you realize how much you don't know. Yeah. And then eventually there's like a meshing of like what you do know and your confidence in yourself based on what you do know. So I'm at like the peak of like, I think I'm invincible when it comes to soldering. And then I think pretty soon I'm going to have that crash where I realize I suck and everything I've done so far has been like extreme luck. But I got it to work. So I'm pretty happy with that.
This is your third soldering, right? Or second?
Yeah, kind of. Like because I did a couple points on that on the Genesis and got that going.
Yeah.
And then I did the Xbox chip. Oh, and then I did the Game Gear. So this is my fourth
nice. Soldering. You're a solder master.
I'm an expert, or at least I believe I am. Until I keep getting more cocky. So at some point, I'm going to get in over my head, and it's going to be like in the chat. Like
I'm just going to start buying, going on eBay and just buying all those lots of broken devices, like $25 bucks, and start sending them up your way.
I don't know how to fix things. Is the problem? I had something gone wrong. I have no means to test it or say why.
Xbox.
Yeah. When you get on eBay and you see all these like junk consoles that people tried to mod, like that's me. That's just I haven't got there yet. It's just like I tried it, doesn't work. Fuck it, sell it.
Yep.
Let some smart person figure it out. But no, it works. So, but I haven't had a chance to enjoy either the computer or the X Station because I've been just busting my ass trying to get through this game.
Yeah.
This this game slogged hard at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. So we are. Oh, what are you guys drinking? Anything?
Wait one moment.
He's going to the beer fridge. It's back working.
Ooh, that was a good crack.
That's a nice
Yeah,
crack. Bob.
I have
Johnny?
I have this.
A little bit of Corona.
Yeah.
A bit of COVID.
What do you got?
A little bit of bourbon. I was going to stop on the ride home and get something, to celebrate this game.
Yeah.
But then once I got home, I got comfortable and I'm like, I'll just drink what I have.
Meh. Yeah, that's what I am right now.
Yep.
I almost made it. I said no beer from Sunday to Friday because this weekend I'm going to abuse my liver at a wedding. But made an exception tonight.
Have you seen that meme where it's like, I'm going to go and I'm going to abuse my organs? And it's a picture that says organs. It's a picture of E.T. when he's like half dead in the river, just all shriveled up. That's going to be your liver.
Every
Wait, John, you
Sunday,
still have your liver?
every Sunday in 2008, that was me. Oh, yeah.
Alcoholism.
That was a hard year on my body. Yeah. So this episode is, and probably another episode, going to be dedicated to Mother 3, which is an RPG from Nintendo.
Lies. This is not an RPG.
Oh my god.
This is when Nick gets out of control.
This is it. He's just going to go on a tear.
Sorry.
So, dude, this game had some crazy development. Like, I didn't even know there was a Mother 1. Clearly after playing the third one, and I realized that this game was the sequel to Earthbound or Mother 2 in Japan. I don't know if they ever got Mother 1 over to us.
They did. Virtual Console. So
Nice.
I did some research, John, for once.
Yeah.
The Mother 1 was, the original Mother, the translation was done. And it actually leaked out for years. They were calling it Earthbound Zero for years until Nintendo said, well, we've got this done. We just never released it because we didn't think it was commercially viable. They dumped it on Virtual Console Wii U era, something like that. It's called Earthbound Beginnings is what the American...
Oh, yeah. That's right. I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah, so Mother... The original Mother was released in Japan in 1987. And then Earthbound was released in Japan August 27th, 1994. And it came to North America in June of 1995. So kind of near the tail end of the Super Nintendo's life. So yeah, Mother 3 was released in Japan on April 20th, 2006. And it was released in the U.S. never. This thing is never going to be released in the U.S. It was developed by Brownie Brown and HAL Laboratory. I believe Brownie Brown is now like One Up Studios or something like that. They have some kind of involvement with the Super Mario 3D Land, 3D World games. But other than that, I'm not all that familiar with Brownie Brown. HAL is the other one that was involved. HAL made Kirby.
Yeah.
HAL made Arcana, which is another one I'm going to make John play. And of course, it was published by Nintendo. So this thing was like a development nightmare. This thing was in development hell for who knows how long. I think 12 years is how long they spent working on this one, but it might have even been more. It started off, after Earthbound came out, they were trying to put it on, I think, the Super Famicom. And then when things were changing over to the N64, they were talking about putting this as an N64 disk drive game. And I want to say they got something like, well, some reports have it they were like 30% done it. It was Earthbound. It was Earthbound 64. I can't remember the subtitle of the thing, but others had it at 60%, and that was since gone. 64 disk drive was a bomb, so they eventually backed off and said, "Well, we're going to make it a 64 cartridge," and then that didn't happen as they were rearing up against like deadlines, like when it was running into like close to the GameCube era. So this thing was scrapped for a while, and then eventually somebody had the idea to say, well, remember that? I think it was Miyamoto actually, to run it by Itoi and say, if you're still interested in doing this Mother 3 game, you could do it on the GBA. I've read some interviews somewhere where like Itoi initially was kind of hesitant to put it on the Game Boy Advance because he wanted some kind of game that would be memorable, that would be like have a long lasting legacy. And I don't think he thought a handheld game would be something that would have that legacy. But I think he was approached multiple times on that. And eventually he said, yeah, let's do it. So that's when they started working on Mother 3, which was eventually released on the GBA. John, so yeah, you mentioned on this thing that it was a fan translation. Is actually like one of the most popular fan translations, or one of the most well-known fan translations to ever come out. The other one I think that may be close to this would be like the translation for Final Fantasy V. The big name on this one was Tomato. I think we've mentioned him before. He had involvement. I believe it was Cave Story. I'll have to go back and look. We've talked about him. His name is Clyde Mandolin, and he runs the Legends of Localization website. Great site. Everyone should check that out at your leisure. But yeah, that was his big claim to fame, is that he did the fan translation on this one. And I think I read somewhere that it was like estimated that he put in something like $30,000. If you were to pay a professional translator to do the work that he and his team put in, it would be something like $30,000, like money that Nintendo is clearly not willing to pay for this, as we'll talk about later.
Yeah. So we're going a little out of order here, but I had heard about this game and the fan translation, and I just was like, we need a weird game, one that doesn't have a lot of notoriety, I guess. I mean, this one is like a cult classic, if you would.
That's the best way I'd describe it.
Yeah.
So none of us had any experience whatsoever with this game. Are you guys familiar with like Earthbound as a whole?
I only played Earthbound.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Earthbound, but I never beat it. I don't know about you, Matt.
So on one of our episodes, I may have had a hot take where I shit all over Earthbound.
Wonder what episode that was.
Now I'm kind of like, maybe I was a little harsh. I just don't think I got it. That's kind of my thing with games. It's like, I'll fire it up and be like, this game fucking sucks. And I'll tell the entire world that I think this game sucks. And then like a week later, I'm like, I kind of like that game.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this podcast has helped me get over the bridge of my 10-minute attention span, where if it's not riveting in the beginning, or it doesn't have a nostalgia factor or like a title factor, like, hey, I'll play any Halo game, I don't think I would have given this the time of day if we didn't have the podcast.
I'm surprised you actually suggest this game.
It's an RPG. I figured you'd run for the hills.
I just like the weirdness. People are like, this game is strange, and I started looking up on it. And the guy that was involved in the series, but he was the writer on Mother 3, Mr. Shigesato Itoi. I butchered that name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's good.
This guy has done everything, man.
I was looking up, trying to find out if we have an equivalent person in the U.S., like a Swiss Army knife, a jack of all trades, like a Renaissance man. I can't think of somebody who would be our equivalent to this dude. I got on his website. He does he does a daily. He writes every day.
Wow.
like little pearls of wisdom. So I found this way to get like translated. And today, I think the thing I read about today was like why you should, the difference between doing something 100 times as practice and then doing something 100 times just to do it differently. And his whole philosophy on the difference between practicing and not. Dude, the guy's a genius.
Yeah. Yeah. He has done it all. Everything.
He's a voice actor too.
Yeah. Yeah. He made a fishing game that he titled for himself, right? Like Shigesato's Fishing. And yeah, just cool dude, man.
Well, I'll even go even further into that. He's actually voiced an anime John.
Oh, John!
What? Oh, I'm sorry. My headphones stopped working. I can't hear you.
Oh, snap.
What I thought was cool about this dude, one, he was a judge on Iron Chef. So by the way, I fucking love the old Iron Chefs. So good. Chen Kenichi, he's the man.
Yeah. I remember watching some Iron Chef in college.
Drunk Iron Chef. No, this dude, like, he was basically like Japan's madman. I mean, he was an ad guy. Like, everyone in Japan knows his ads, and like they know him for his ads. I can't think of anyone in the United States like, wow, that guy makes ads, and I know that's his ad. That's John. John made that ad.
Was he involved in the ad campaign for Earthbound in the States?
I gotta think he maybe, right?
I saw some stuff on that, and it was bad. It was trying to be cool and funny, but they put scratch and sniff ads in like Nintendo Power or EGM. And if you mailed it back to them and guessed the smell correctly, you got swag. And apparently they all smelled like asshole.
The logo was like, this game stinks. And I had a scratch and sniff ad for Earthbound. Dude, this guy's, I guess when he went to pitch making the original Mother, I think he pitched it. I think it was Miyamoto. I think because him and Miyamoto
were friends. Really?
And he was like, yeah, no, you're just some dude that wants to try it. Because he was an essayist. He wrote poems. He did, advertising.
Which kind of makes sense if you playing this game. The themes are there.
Yes, very much so.
Heavy themes.
So eventually they let him do it. Eventually they let him make Mother.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you want to play this? Wouldn't you want to play the themes in this? I mean, it's so... I don't know.
There's
heavy.
Nothing
They're
else
heavy
like
and daunting.
There's a lot going on. It's all over. It encompasses a lot of movements and feelings, right? Like
I would.
Yeah. It's weird. It's wacky. And then, okay, your mom got stabbed by a dinosaur and your dad doesn't want to do anything with you anymore. Like, wow.
The tone. So like I've played enough Earthbound just to be dangerous, not enough to know. And I've never played Earthbound Beginnings, but from what I hear, it's basically just like Earthbound, 0.5.
Right.
Earthbound Beginnings is like the trial run for Earthbound, and it's unforgiving in a way that a 1987 JRPG that wants to be Dragon Quest was.
Yeah. I heard they piggybacked off of that
real hard.
That game. Yeah.
Earthbound is this like it presents this time that never existed, but we're all nostalgic for. It's like this fake kind of like Americana, 1950s spacey kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
you play it and you're like, oh man, I'm really nostalgic for that, even though I had nothing to do with it.
Right.
This game may start out saying, oh man, you're going to feel the same way you felt during Earthbound. And then it kicks you in the dick over and over and over.
There's a lot to take in here. I want to say though, like, I mean, the guy had a cell phone, right? So I'm thinking like how to set the scene for like the village. It reminds me of like the 80s or 90s, I guess, like the early 90s, but in one of those really rural towns.
Yeah,
super.
It reminds you of the 80s or 90s in Maine. That's like the 1800s in the rest of the country.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because there's like it looked like oh, what is this? A Western? Because you see that your first character you play as is
Flint.
So you play.
You got to rewind because it's the prologue. because you start off I believe you're playing as Lucas, and you're hanging out with your grandfather. Is it Alec or Alex?
Alec, I think. Yeah.
It's one or two. It's Hanawa's mom, Hanawa's dad. Hanawa's your mom. You're like on a camping expedition up in the mountains.
Yeah.
And you and your brother Klaus.
You're just going to chest bump some dinosaurs.
Friendly, lovable dinosaurs that like being tackled.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Random.
And then it cuts into like, I think like you that's where you learn all your battle, right? Isn't that, don't you learn your first battle?
You don't learn any battling, you just learn how to run. That's where you just learn your run.
Yeah.
I thought I fought something.
It didn't really teach you. I mean, it's like, oh, you can bang into things, like knock things. So you learn how to run or you learn how to dash. That way, you dash into it, they knock over things.
It's weird how you run because it's not like you hold it and then you go faster. It's like you hold it and that gets you into like sprint stance. And then from then you just keep running until you either stop yourself or run into something.
Right. Yeah. And you could run faster diagonally.
You can walk faster diagonally. Yeah.
Yeah. Classic old school games. Yeah. So then, right. Cause I'm trying to remember the story on this one after you and your grandfather and whatever, doesn't Lucas's mom write a letter to Flint, your dad, saying,
sends it I
wish you'd come and hang out with us, but you're too busy being, the town sheriff and you stink like sheep all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you get down to Flint and he doesn't talk. He just nods to people and he's got his hat.
Yeah.
And he's a cowboy.
Yeah, he is, man. It's a very...
Well, that's why I thought, I'm like, is this a West... Like, the town doesn't make sense. Or at least the geographic of how everything is doesn't really truly make sense. Because you're like, oh, it's in like a Western-esque type town. You do have like doors that do the sway open. I'm like, but then you have dinosaurs that are apparently in the mountains. Then you will have a castle you end up going to. So it's like...
It's really odd.
Yep. Well,
it seems normal. Then, like, you walk
or completely like on drugs when he, and this kind of makes sense if he's a poet now and he has his background. Is he's like, I like all these things. Let me just dump them on in this.
There's always something to take you out of like, okay, this could be a typical JRPG town. It's set kind of in the past, but there's some quirky things here and there. But then like you walk by like the tall guy leader.
Yeah.
This giant tall guy, and his only job is to ring the bell. And you're like, well, that's very odd.
Yeah. I looked it up. It takes place on the Nowhere Islands. So they have some creative freedom to just make it however they want, because everything that takes place is on an island. You could throw in like with a shotgun all your climates and random things,
It's like New Zealand. It's what it is.
Exactly.
Later on, I think when we get to the second episode of this, the second part of this, the island will actually start, because I've gone enough ahead, the island will start making sense as to why it's so odd. Like, actually, the game makes sense when you get near the end. You're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But the beginning part, it's very jarring how weird that island is.
Now, since you have played ahead, oops, sorry for that one, Matt. Since you've played ahead, does the characters actually make sense? Like the leading up, like as far as, because in this game, what I'm battling with, and I just got into chapter 4, is the fact that it's like, okay, you play as the dad in the first chapter. The first initial chapter, you play as a dad. You go through the storyline of, in a sense, trying to get to the kids and, so
go into detail on that. Tell me the story there.
So your dad, I think he actually decided to go up and meet the kids on their journey back and bring them back, and that's where kind of shit gets hits the fan.
Now, was it a lightning strike, John? Is what caused the forest fire?
Yep.
Yeah. You have a lightning strike that causes a forest fire, so you end up saving the kid, and then after that, this tops to you going to get the kids and mom, but then you see like a wild Drago is roaming, and you're trying to rescue the kids in time because they're lost. Or what was it? Oh, you got the letter that the kids and Hinawa were on the way back, but they haven't came back in time, which was odd. So he went up to search to see what happened, and that's where you find out Drago pretty much killed Hinawa.
Yeah.
So I get the impression that he's like the only one that matters in that town. Like everyone in that town is fucking useless, and like he is the hero.
Right? Yeah, because they're trying to rustle up people to go like help with the fire, and there's like, oh, I gotta stay back, and like there's that one guy that just runs around, and he's supposedly like in your party. I love those little like shadow characters. Yeah, and he's like, oh, his back, he complained his back hurt too much. Like, oh yeah.
Well, it's like you got the giant tall guy. It's like he could walk over the forest. Send him to go get people.
Right,
he's like, no,
right?
I got to ring the bell. Like he just ignores you.
I can't go. But yeah, a lot of useless people in that town, man. It's not too good.
Does Duster help you at this point, or is that late? No, that's after.
Duster does. So when you're going up, you come to a point where you meet his dad, Wes.
Yeah.
And Wes is like, "Hey, I'll send a message to my son. He's good at this." And what Duster ends up doing is he ends up joining. Does he join you?
I don't.
Yes, he does.
No.
He does join you. He joins your party after that because then you can use his ability to staple.
So I love Duster. Let's go back to Duster for a sec.
He's
I love
awesome.
that they like Wes is like this crotchety old man. Like, he gets up at 5 a.m. and like starts cleaning things and is very productive. And you have Duster, who's just like this lazy ass who's in bed, who just gets shit on all the time. So they send the dog to go get him, and the dog drags his sleeping ass through the forest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how old everyone is in this game, but I get the feeling like Duster is like 30, lives in his dad's basement, like, and his dad just shits on him, loves him, but shits on him.
He is so
and
mean
does
to
not
him.
Stop shitting on him at all.
Moron, you moron.
Yeah, and Duster is a good friggin' character, man.
He's so cool.
He has some solid abilities.
Yeah,
but isn't that the last time you use him for a little bit? You don't use him for the rest.
Oh, you get him. Yeah, he's great, and he's great the whole game.
Yeah,
but
you don't get flipped again, do you?
No. Maybe at the end. I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, I didn't do the boss battle.
I
read ahead a little.
That's what I think is been hard in this game. Like, okay, you're getting intro. These are kind of like each chapter is a character intro. Like sometimes in books where you switch off between each character. So you get into their side of the story, then next thing you know, all the story is kind of conjoined. So that's what I'm hoping for. But what I'm sounding is not all these chapters are actually, these stories are really furthering each other at all. So right now, it doesn't seem like in chapter 2, does that actually chapter really have any integral part to the story, overall story?
Very much so. Let's go back to 1 though.
Good.
Let's go back to 1 because we're missing. We got to talk about the elephant in the room more than just the dumb cunt died as you opened with, because that's fucking huge.
Yeah,
was it sad? That wasn't really that huge to me.
What I text you guys. I went nuts about that, and like you guys just like, dude, it happens. So
what was that?
No, I was playing this game, and I was like, okay, so in a JRPG, right? There's always like some character that dies. And it's the only reason why the character dies is because the hero needs some excuse to go be the hero. And you're like, okay, good. That person's expendable. Fuck them. But this game, it's like, oh my God, this is like Peanuts. This is like the Charlie Brown characters, adventuring in the world. And I'm expecting Earthbound nostalgia. The kids get rescued they're cold, they're in shock. Like Klaus and Lucas, they get rescued after all this.
Yeah.
Hanawa's not back. So, and it makes sense as you get later in the game. One of the townsfolk, I think his name is Bronson, comes up and he's like, "Hey, I got good news and bad news for you." And he's like, "Good news is like I found this like really amazing Drago tooth or something like that. It'll make an invincible weapon for you." And he's like, "But the bad news is, and it's like a bunch of pauses and dot lines. Like, the bad news is I pulled it from your wife's heart." Like, holy shit.
Brutal.
It was brutal. And then like that scene where Flint picks the firewood up and he's like smashing the fire. The villagers try to stop him. Now he's like beating the shit out of him with 2x4s until the guy with the big stick comes and clubs him.
Yep.
That was
Just
crazy.
going on a rampage.
That didn't like blow you guys' mind?
No.
I mean, I guess because it's a cartoon, you know?
Can you imagine like Charlie Brown's mom having a Drago tooth go through her heart?
Yeah.
So you've always been big on stories, though. I think like stories is a big thing for you in the game. Like I think it's if anything the biggest thing for you.
Oh, it's an RPG, man. In an RPG, you gotta have that.
Weird because you think I would be all about the stories, but I could care less. My brain does not function that way. It's just like, okay, I need a task. What's my next task?
Clearly, so that's Earl of Roquefort cheese.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I like. Oh shit, his mom died. Okay, like I'm right now at the point where I'm just so pissed off that I haven't been able to play. I haven't had a chance to play with Lucas yet. Really.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, damn, when's this game gonna have Lucas in it? Why am I playing with all these shit characters?
Yeah,
that is a thing because like I remember playing. I'm like, where's Lucas? Like I got Flint. Where's Lucas? Okay, got Duster. Okay, I got a monkey. All right, when is Lucas? And it's very disjointed in the beginning. I don't know if I'm going to level the fuck out of these characters. And then it'd be a waste of time.
Right. Yeah, I tried to push through in the beginning. I didn't grind at all until I had to like get a little bit higher with Duster in his solo chapter. That the end of that was a little challenging.
That wasn't too. It wasn't actually too bad for me.
Fighting the conductor.
The conductor
Mr.
was.
Passion.
I beat the. Once I learned, I watched the video. I'm like, okay, what's the best way to beat this guy? So I'm like, what is it? Like, what's his weakness? Because I was destroying beef jerky. Like I literally filled my whole everything in my thing with beef jerky. So I'd like do a couple hits on him, hit him with that one bomb that I had, and eat the beef jerky. Do this, and I'm like, what's going on? Then I saw a guy that played him, and he did it. He got the like a music hit combo system that you can do in this. Yeah. And he
do you want to talk about that?
We will. It's because I still have not mastered that thing. I'm getting 3. Like 5.
I think the general consensus is no one has mastered it.
Like this guy was hitting it left and right while I was watching. Like he did it like where he got with Duster being like level 9, he destroyed the conductor. I'm like, I'm level 14 and I'm struggling hard.
Yeah.
Like I defeated every freaking thing in each room like 4 or 5 times. Going against the suit of armor is just trying to build up the friggin' my attack, and I can't do it. So what he did though, in conjunction with it, was he would put the conductor to sleep, then lower his offense and lower his defense drastically, and then just keep on hitting him.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the battle system, and then we'll go back to the story.
Yeah,
because I think we're so deep in the battle system, we got to explain that for someone who's listening, because like they're probably listening, going, "What is this music stuff that you guys are talking about?"
Pisses me off, but then also I like a couple features that I haven't seen before. The big one is the music, is the timing. So the hit timing, I don't know if it's the system I'm using or just my lack of ability or my buttons, but I got 3, and that was it. 3 combo.
It's I can't, and I wonder if it's because we're playing on, we're emulating it on various devices, and we're not playing it on original hardware. So,
but the people that I've seen that playing I think are emulating as well. So I'm seeing English subtitles.
I wonder if they have like a ROM hack or something.
Cart, flash drive. All right. Yeah. So the battle system, right? It's basically a build off Dragon Quest, in that you fight people. It's a turn-based game. It's not random encounters. You see people visible on the map.
Yep.
Like Trigger.
That the whole like with the way you encounter them, it does not.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't bode well if you try to run from them and they're fast, because then they just get behind you and they track you.
And you got three colors.
Yeah. Yep. Green means you got the jump on them. Blue means it's neutral, and red means they got the jump on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wish other games did this, because I'm constantly like, when I play this game, like, I'm going to sneak up behind them. They won't know I'm there. I'm going to get that green and get the attack straight off the bat.
Yeah. Yeah. That bodes well for Lucas, because he is slow as molasses.
Dude, Duster and Boney, man.
They're like go fast. At it. Yeah. Boney's so quick. So that's a cool feature that I hadn't seen before. But the big one is that the combos are based on the music of the battle. And you have to tap the attack button as you're striking. Like as your first hit lands, you tap the button and you just keep tapping. But I think I've
do
tried
it to the beat of the music.
Yeah, and I've tried to do it.
But each enemy has its own heartbeat, it's different. So like Duster has a hypno thing, and like once you learn what their hypno, you can practice. There's a menu somewhere you can practice it. But like
you have to find the thing with Duster's. And Dusters, you find like the battle book, or something like that, and that battle book is what you use to keep on playing over and over and over again.
Yeah, the music thing, I like it in theory. I'm like, this could be awesome, but the execution of it is like, it's real. Like if it was just like, I've got to follow the rhythm, I would crush it. But where everyone has its own rhythm, and then the music kind of jumbles around, the music's real weird. It's hard. I haven't been able to do it.
No. And it seems like it's diminishing returns mostly too. Like your first one hits good, and then your second one's single digits.
It's all about like going on a long combo.
Yeah. But I watched some videos on the long combos, and it's like 1, 4, 7, 20, 1, 3, 5. Like I think
it's the space between the notes.
Yeah.
That's my conspiracy theory, is that like if you've got a long pause, you'll get more points in between that.
That's weird. I can't get it down.
If it had a visual cue, like Mario RPG,
Yep. Yeah, when the movement. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty run-of-the-mill, like item. You have goods, you have powers, and then you have regular attack. But there's scant weapons. Like once you get one, you don't see another one for a while. Like everybody has their set thing, or like you might pick up.
And there's luck too on some of those weapons.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the odometer?
That was the feature that I loved, because you could save your own ass if you just hurried.
It was amazing, because like some guys it made like a strategy in it, and it came from Earthbound, but like you may have 3 guys, and then the last guy may be someone who's like got a self-destruct and like kill all your characters and mortally damage them. So what you'll want to do is take out the first 2 guys, save him for last, because when you take damage in this game, it's not instantly there. It's like an odometer, like in a car, like keeps rolling it down.
Yeah.
So you may be like mortally wounded, and you're going to take 8,000 damage or something stupid like that.
I almost lost a boss battle or 2. I
get so excited.
Happened with me the first time I went against the musical guy, Mr.
Yeah.
I discovered it by accident because it said I took mortal damage, and then somehow I won. I was like, what the hell is this? So I got on. I'm like, no, that's not how it doesn't work like other games.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could save someone as they're ticking down to death. You can throw them some beef jerky, and they just, oh yeah, I'm fine. And I don't like I guess the math evens out in the end,
Yeah. I think awesome. I remember I said, like, you took 800 damage. Like, oh snap! But I have 22 HP before, huh?
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
Because it
when you
happened with
win, it's so
when you fight the
satisfying.
Drago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Drago fight was I was kind of a bitch. Not gonna lie, like the boss battles as a whole in this game were a bitch. So Duster's tale. Nick, do you remember any of the story with Duster, or did you just click through all the funny shit?
Your dad is testing
John's
you.
nodding.
Well, no, your dad's testing you for for like a thief. So he has you go into this castle, and he has to find something really valuable in this castle. So you're going through the castle. And this is through the first time into the Osho Castle, I think it's called.
Yep.
And through the Osho Castle, it's abandoned. You're going through. It has a spa at the end that has a random old guy that's just chilling in the spa at the basement. And you're like, "Hey, what are you doing here? Healing up?" You just heal up. But this one, your enemies are ghosts, and they look like you're literally your typical like a sheet ghost. They're all these sheet.
They don't leave you alone either, man.
No,
They're right
not
on
at
your
all.
ass. Yeah.
And they're pretty fast. So this is where I actually encountered the red for my first time of actually trying to run away from them, because I was also used to Earthbound, and I don't know if you remember this, John, or you, Matt, but in Earthbound, once you also hit a certain level, enemies started running from you. This doesn't happen in this at all.
No. They're on you.
They don't give two shits about you. It's like you're level, I'm like, oh, what's going on? So I was like, okay, I'll just like level up, and then these fucks will just leave me be so I can run through. No, that didn't happen. I just here's a ghost. Here's a knight that coming after you. The barrels of ghosts is coming after you. So it didn't. Those were kind of daunting, because I think this became annoying because like I said, for this one, I leveled up so well where like I was one hitting pretty much everything in here except for the suits of armor. So, and I was struggling every time, like, okay, where do I go? I actually had to pull up a map. So, like, am I missing a doorway that I just couldn't see? Because I kind of like I thought I'd been into every room, but they're like, oh, go south. Oh, there's a door here. I'm like, okay, and that's led me to further up. So
did you talk to any of the ghosts? Did you talk to any of the ghosts that weren't fighting you?
Well, yeah, I talked to one, and like one were drinking champagne, listen to this tune.
Yeah,
they're like rocking out, having a ghost party in this castle.
And they're all about their rotted chocolate eclairs, which is your currency in that level. Like, hey, give me some chocolate eclair, then I'll give you some beef jerky. So like I found like so much, like I literally filled out my whole, besides the things that were actually equipped, was all beef jerky.
Snake rope.
That's funny.
Oh, and the snake rope. I had a snake rope because that's the only way you can get over that gap.
That's from Smash Brothers, right?
The snake talks to you.
Dude, it's a character. It's an item that's a character. When have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is like a job for me.
Yep. Oh, I gotcha. But yeah, that's the one that Lucas uses in Smash Brothers, right?
Yeah, it's his throw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I'm also noticing some stuff in here, like, it's kind of funny because, like, Smash Brothers, as you said, John, you just don't notice, like, some of the features, like the guy with the walking nose in Smash Brothers that you throw.
Mr. Saturn.
Yeah. I didn't know what that was. And apparently
they're later.
What?
Yeah. Later in the game.
Yeah, he's in the game. So I was like, oh, okay. So it was just weird seeing all this stuff, like, make its appearance, I guess, in this game. Like the presents and stuff like that. Like, I knew of the yo-yo and stuff of that nature. So it's nifty just uncovering all these little things. One thing, like you said too, John, and this is kind of in like retrospective of level chapter 2, is there's no further like upgrades of your armor or weapon, realistically.
Yeah.
Or they're so far between of actually getting, like, I remember in Earthbound, you actually got your weapons pretty quickly. and you could actually like go buy them and like change out. You were able to upgrade them. Well, I remember fairly quickly. And this one is like, I haven't seen nothing. I'm using a rickety old fucking stick to take down a dragon, a dinosaur. Okay.
Yeah. All I can picture is
there's a reason for that.
Yeah, is because when was it The Rock where he was walking tall, where he just cuts like a 4x4, and he's like, "This will do," you know? Like, come on, man.
So we're gonna jump way ahead, and I don't want to go there, but in chapter 4, it'll make sense why you can't buy weapons.
Okay.
Chapter 4. When you get to chapter 4, it's like, oh, 1 to 3 makes sense now. You're like, wow, this isn't a game with a story. This is a story put to a game.
Yeah,
that's so like,
dude.
Dude,
you want to hit on that?
Well,
I want to go back. I want to finish Duster's
Let's back
story.
up because, like, we'll get through Duster because I like his chapter. Like, I find him the most utilitarian of characters. Like, his stuff just seems all useful. Like his special abilities, like the staple.
They're good. They don't hit all the time. I mean,
well, even if they don't hit all the time, like they're really good. Like being a backup, like a backing character. Yeah, that's what he like. His special. It's not about hitting. It's like, okay, it's gonna take you forever probably to kill someone. Let me staple this enemy to there so they can't move. Okay, let me put them to sleep. Okay, let me lower their defense and their offense down.
His physical attack's pretty good too. His regular one.
Yeah, his kick, your boots.
Yeah.
So Duster, he cracks me up. Like Duster's just he's like a contradiction. So him and his dad are thieves, but they're in a town that's never known any crime or any sad. They've never used the jail. So they're like, are they good thieves or not? What have they ever stolen? Nothing.
Yeah.
So, and then like everyone shits on him, makes fun of him. Like he's a guy with a stinky breath, and he's got a handicap. He's got a hobbled leg. However, he's got this like power kick. Like when you take him into battle, he has a swift kick, tons of damage.
Boom.
And everyone thinks he's stupid, yet he's the guy that saves the day all the time with a staple thing.
Well, maybe it's like you said. He's part of this. He's probably an integral part of the story because ultimately, it's like you said. He is the contradiction. He's truly the actual hero. Realistically,
he is.
He's very quiet.
Unsung hero.
He looks like Dennis Quaid.
We got to cast it. Are you doing that next episode where we cast it?
Yeah.
For the ending?
Yes. Just that he looks like he's sneering a lot, and Dennis Quaid always sneers. He's always like,
So Duster goes, he gets sent to the castle to get a special item. And you're not told what it is because the real thief would know what this item is. You'll know it when you see it. So he goes and gets like the golden spittoon or something like that.
Yep.
The royal spittoon. So he brings it back to Wes. He's like, I've got it. And Wes is like, well, you've done it. You've finally done it. Only a master thief would go, and I can't remember the text of it. And he's like, would do something to stupid, you moron. This isn't it.
He just belittles the shit out of him.
Moron. Oh man, I felt so bad for that guy, dude.
But then wasn't there something inside the Splatoon?
A pendant, I think, right?
Or you found or something you found along the way. He's like, okay, anything, and you like show him the pendant. And he's like, okay, we're going back.
It's Kumatora, right?
Yeah. So Wes drags you back, and I think that's where you find. Now Wes calls her the princess, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is she? She's a princess of a rickety castle.
I guess her parents left her there, or you don't know. There are no mothers in this game. I was thinking about that. Like, what's the title have to do with anything? and there is a dearth of mother figures. The only one that you see dies, right? Like, where's Kumatora's mom and dad? I don't know. Where's Duster's mom? I don't know. What happened?
John's tin hats on.
Tinfoil hat.
It's very sad. I think this our creator, our jack of all trades guy, he must had a special relationship with his mom.
Well,
he misses her a lot.
What gets me is like when you have the opening credits or the opening start where you can pick people's names. You don't know the story, so you're like any other RPG, I'm like, oh, I'm going to name him my friend Tim, or I'm going to name him my friend Bob. And that's Sue, and then you get into the game. It's like, oh, I named this character. I named the mom after my mom or something like that, and then the mom gets killed, and you're like, well, this is dark.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I named the brother after my little brother. Oh, the game kind of alludes to the fact that he gets chucked off a mountain. So early on in this game, there's a dead 10-year-old. Your mom dies
just laying there.
It's like, holy shit. Like if we had a checklist, maybe like what we should be doing on these episodes, and I'll start right now, is like reasons why Nintendo hasn't brought this over, hasn't localized this. So number one, like dead mom.
Yeah.
Number two, dead 9-year-old, dead 10-year-old. We'll rack up many, many more.
You know what's funny is I think this.
Do you think this game can be made in today's standards?
Yeah,
with woke culture.
You would have to do so much tweaking that it would lose any of its. I mean,
I don't know. They make some pretty offensive games now, right?
But it's Nintendo. Nintendo's like the Disney of.
Yeah, no, Nintendo couldn't do it. They'd have to be an indie studio. Yeah, I think it hits harder because it has that modern feel, whereas all these other RPGs are like back in 690. 2/3 of people died anyway. It's like, oh, okay,
fair enough,
whatever. Yeah, everybody dies back then. Nobody cares.
Well, I thought this was actually like what's always confused me is just because initially I thought like, oh, this is a game that takes back, harks back in time. Like, it didn't feel modern to me at all.
Not yet. We'll get there.
and then I did some reading as well. It says, oh, it's like they do a time skip. Like, a time skip? Why do we have a time skip?
We'll get there, Nick.
Yeah.
Hold off on that. We gotta get through Duster. We gotta get Kumatora. We haven't even talked about her in your party and her abilities, right?
No, we haven't.
We have not. So you jump back to the castle with Wes and Duster. And again, a shadow character. So that is such a funny feature. He's not even there in the battle. He just, from the background, he's like lobbing stuff at you, or he throws
socks.
Yep, he throws Duster's stinky socks at him. It didn't work. Does it ever work? I don't think so.
Well, what is it? Does he, like, I thought the shadow character in the first one does help when you go against...
Oh, Alex, yeah.
Alec helps.
Alec works pretty well. He'll like keep on buffing you, like, so you won't die.
Yeah. 1/3 of the time, his back hurts, though.
Yeah.
He said, calm down. Calm down. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. So you go back, and apparently Wes knows the princess, like, because he's been in that castle, and I guess he's run into her. So is this girl just living in this abandoned castle, eating moldy pudding or whatever it is?
Rodney Claire's or whatever.
Rodney Claire's, yeah.
Rodney Claire's moldy, was it rotting milk?
Yeah.
You get rotten milk as well.
Yeah, it's gross.
Is this the chapter that she learns her PSI ability?
I think so. I think she has it.
So did you read about how that works?
They get fevers, like they're born with psi, or they can have it instilled in them. Like it has to be innate in you, and then an event can bring it on or something, right?
Yeah. When I read online, because it was talking about what he envisioned the way the magic's going to work. Spoiler alerts. It's like when something happens, it's like not traumatic, but like they get feverish, they get sick, they get all this stuff. and then there's a growth afterwards. So like the creator, Itoi, basically like has this philosophy where it's like after sickness, that's when strength comes. So, but he compared it. There was an interview he did. He compared the learning of psi abilities with menstruation.
What? Oh God! Sounds like some freaking.
Oh my goodness!
I told that to Nikki, and Nikki was like, "What is John making you play?"
Sounds like some Gwyneth Paltrow shit right there.
Gwen, she's back.
Oh. After sickness, there's gonna be health. Don't stick this jade egg up your twat.
Well, Nick, that's what you're in the castle to rescue. Is the jade egg?
The jade egg.
Yeah.
You didn't even plan that one.
No.
Oh, God.
Just serve that one up.
Do they tell you why the egg's important here, or do I know that because I'm further ahead and I know what it is?
I haven't gotten it back yet. I'm in. Yeah, so I don't know what its value is.
Okay, so I'll keep my mouth shut on that. But like, you have a whole battle, and then like you and Wes and Kumatora get flushed. Oh, because that's when the pigmen show up. That's what happens is the pigmen flush you out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have to talk about the pig army.
Yep.
Yeah. What you first see in chapter 1, when you first encounter them in chapter 1, it's like they run off. They're at like this teleport or this like thing that's make it right.
Yeah, they're making chimeras. They're taking the animals.
A transmogrifier, right? Like, isn't that from something else where they just splash stuff together?
Did you read the manual?
Yeah, the chimeras. No, I didn't.
It's like, these animals are boring. We need to make the animals cooler so that they're cool looking, more interesting, and more violent, or something like that. They had a whole manual like what they wanted to accomplish.
They do a lot, man. I just saw the tank turtle where it shoots rockets from its butt. There's a missile that's like, isn't a missile like a
rhino?
A hippo or a rhino? It's in a missile. Like,
there's a lion with like tentacles, like a robot tentacle lion.
So messed up, man.
It's so bizarre.
But then you find
the
out
mice
that
with wings. You have all these different creatures that you come across.
Right. And the dino, they're making all these things. So they made the mecha dino, which killed Kumatora or Hinawa. Right.
Yeah.
So
the Dragos are peaceful. It was their fault.
Yeah.
And they're the ones shooting the lightning that burned the forest down.
Yep. So they come in and they just start wrecking stuff. But again, like, how did they get there? How did they build this tower without anybody noticing? Or, what do you got? You got an answer for that one?
I will in part 2.
Part 2.
Yes.
So all I know is the way chapter 2 ends, right? Everyone disappears, or everyone gets like Duster gets lost, right?
Yep. You'll get flushed, and Duster gets separated, and you're back in town, and Wes is cussing him out, and then it fades out, and then you open up on, what's his name? Fassad, and a bunch of troopers, and 2 monkeys. And what's the monkey's name?
Salsa. Is the monkey you are, and Samba is your girlfriend monkey.
Yes.
You're just trying to get Samba back, isn't it?
Yeah, you just want to hang with her some more. Yeah. I wonder if
Fassad beats you.
Right? Is this a prequel to Monkey Ball?
Yeah. Okay, so in our checklist, so we've got dead mom, we have dead 9-year-old.
Animal abuse.
Put animal abuse.
That is rampant animal abuse.
He's just rampantly zapping the shit out of his poor monkey.
He's always spanking his monkey.
So you end up in the desert with Fassad, who I don't know. He's not the leader. You find out later on that he's not the leader of them, but he's very high up in the pigmen army.
Yep.
And he's this goofball that
second in command. Yeah.
He eats bananas all the time and is interested in monkeys. He's very strange.
Yep. But you make your way through the desert for, I forgot what the reason was, what you're trying to go after.
I can't remember either. I just remember the dung beetles.
Yeah. And it's like, I'll collect some dung. This looks important. And then it was only like 5 experience points or something. I was like, nah, I'm not going to level up like this. You got to trade it into that one guy.
The salsa part was weird because like you weren't doing any damage. You did absolutely nothing. You could mimic their attacks, but really it's like you just sit there and debuff and let Fassad do all the attacking as the shadow character, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. Yep. And you fight your cactus wolf. That's so dumb. So you go through a building that takes you to the village, right?
Yeah.
Osho Castle takes you back there. And you learn that everybody's been there already and they've gotten everything. I love in the basement of that castle, like Wes does the dance to get.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk
chamber.
about that.
Yeah,
tell us about that.
So there's a giant totem face on the wall, and there's like murals of a guy moving, and so you look at him and it's like learned this set of moves, learned blah blah blah. So you look at all three of them, and then as the monkey, he does it like he learns the dance, and the monkey does the dance. No big deal, because as a monkey, you're told to dance anyways by your evil master. But before that, Wes like shakes his booty, and it
goes on forever.
Well.
It's like
it does.
Because that's why I spend most of my time also in chapter 2 trying to figure out that. I'm like, how do I solve this problem, this little puzzle here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, why can't I solve this? Like, why isn't fucking useless friggin' Duster doing anything?
Moron.
And that's
Moron
why
Duster.
Salsa. We had to wait for Salsa.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So Salsa and Fassad they're coming to town, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Apparently the desert house was a secret tunnel or something.
And they're bringing with them a stack of money and happy boxes.
Yep.
And what's weird about this is like no one in this town has any understanding of money.
They haven't had it.
They haven't had money. They don't know what money is.
They don't know sadness. They don't know money. They don't know anybody getting arrested. So like it's paradise, right?
It's paradise.
Yeah.
So he shows up
Where
with his
every
money and like
is always good.
free BJs. They show up with money and someone says like, what am I going to use this for? A doorstop?
Yeah.
Well, you first encounter money also in like chapter 1.
Duster
2.
finds a guy that has some.
Yeah.
Well,
He's like,
that's
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's right.
This guy says, "Hey, give me all this money." And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this.
I forgot about that guy. So they did kind of foreshadow the money coming into things.
Yeah. Yeah, so they did that in the chapter, and you're like, oh, okay. And he runs off or something like that. And then with chapter 3, it's just you come to town, and this is where you kind of find out what Fassad's even more shady as fuck is. He's getting messages about the pig mask men,
Mm-hmm.
and that they're going through Osho Castle to get the egg of light from the princess,
From Gwen.
Yeah.
So happy boxes, John.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, he stands in the square, hawking his wares. And don't you want to be happy? I forgot the dialogue, but it was pretty funny. And like everybody's like, "Well, I guess so. Oh yeah, sure." And they're just televisions, and soon everybody's has one. You time warp a little bit. We won't give away any spoilers, but yeah, he's selling you TV. He's bringing this village into the modern age. And then it all goes downhill from there.
It cracks me up. When I got online, and I'll try to keep this as politics free as possible, but who knows? Everyone online was like, "Oh my God, this game is a communist plot. It's anti-capitalist." Da, da, da. And it's like, well, maybe I could see where you'd come across that, but I think the game kind of takes this, not all modernity is good, Because, I mean, again, I don't think the guy in the game is saying we need to go back to, having an infant mortality of like 75% and then people dying when they're 38. But I think the game is saying like with modernity, things can go bad quickly if you're not if you're not
Yeah.
dealing with it correctly, you're not
Right.
having a balance.
Yeah. These people just get overrun.
Because they never had it. They don't know greed. They don't know any
Right.
of this stuff. So when that comes in, it's like it consumes them.
Yeah.
But there's a
Yeah.
bazaar.
But it's free. If you go in there, he just like gives you. It's like, here, take this. You
Yeah.
don't pay for anything in
It doesn't make any
chapters
sense,
1 to 3.
Matt.
Yeah.
Nick, the hyper capitalist here, is like, this is
Ugh.
stupid. Mediums of exchange.
Like, at least, I mean, this broke my brain. This game literally it breaks my brain. So I'm looking for a form of, because, like you said, in JRPGs you have a form of currency that you're used to upgrading yourself. Like, hey, here's a snake for here's this beef jerky that does great for you, and you can give me that rotted eclair that does nothing for you. But maybe if you eat it because you're super hungry there and you really need that 10 extra possible HP, it might give you that.
Yeah.
You'll get your money eventually, Nick, because we're going to move
I
on to
want
chapter
my
4.
money and I want it now. J.G. Whitworth.
So the ending of 3, John. What happens at the end of 3?
The end of 3 is everybody's back in the town square, right? And Kumatora and Wes are there, and they see everybody gathered around, and the monkey kind of subtly tries to be like, "Hey guys, like this guy's a dickhead. Please help me." You know, I think there's some allusion
Well, he
to
develops
that.
a psychic link. Doesn't he develop some type of link with the princess?
I mean, they make
I don't know.
some eye contact, so possible. It's possible. But anyways, she's like,
using
I don't feel
psi
right about
abilities.
this.
One would think they might be psychic.
Yeah. So they spring him out of his imprisonment, and they try to run through the forest, I think, and they get stopped. And then the boss battle is a big tank, right? One of the
Yes,
one of the
I
pork
forgot
tanks.
about the tank. Yep.
Yeah. So you beat the snot out of that thing, and you get cornered again by everybody. But then the Drago comes down, like the baby Drago. He saves you, right?
And
then
Lucas
that's
comes
it.
in out of nowhere.
Oh, that's right. It's Lucas and the Drago.
Yeah.
Because Lucas has been.
Yeah.
So we didn't talk about like what everyone did. So like after Hinawa
Wait, so
died, like Flint is like going to her grave over and over and over. Like Flint has been useless this
He
whole
just
time.
is there. Yeah.
And Lucas has just been crying. He has been nothing but cry this whole, like all 3 chapters, just crying. And
Just
this is
being a
kind of
little
like,
bitch.
he's kind of like manning up here. Like this is, he comes in with his Drago. He's like, I'm going to do some shit about this. I'm done crying. And the Drago goes and like flings people and like is knocking all the pigmen away. And they're running out of the tank because they don't want to deal with this Drago. And I think that's how it ends, right?
Yeah. That's spot on, my friend.
And then chapter 4.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going because I literally just got into this chapter.
Oh, all right. So 4. I'm gonna have to refresh my memory. So you're Lucas. That everything is modernized. It's been 3 years. I
So
think
in 3
3
years,
years have passed. Yep. Everything got modernized. Besides the people that didn't have the happy boxes, and their houses got struck by fucking lightning.
multiple times.
So like, oh, you resist? Yeah. Oh, I'm just gonna zap you until you comply. Like,
You'll
oh,
take the happy box. Nick.
Yikes!
Give me my happy box.
Savage.
I want my happy box.
Savage.
Make me happy.
And then you get
Yeah.
money, Nick. money is here.
Money. Money makes everyone happy.
Yeah.
See, what I think what this game is truly saying, at least up to this point, is they never knew sadness, but maybe they did knew sadness and loneliness. They just didn't really know happiness. What real
They needed a
happiness
happy
is.
Oh,
Let's be honest. It sounds like right now the real hero, the real untold story is Fassad.
Fassad is the hero of the game. He brought them from the 1800s.
Hot take, guys. Hot take. I'm kidding.
Yeah. So everything's in 3 years. This whole town has gone from like the cowboy Wild West into like it's Earthbound. It's Onett. It's the same exact thing.
They have a shitty retirement home even.
Well, the people start like
old people.
They start turning on each other. If you talk to them, like a lot of them don't like each other anymore.
Yeah.
So you have like that tight knit community. Like there's some cracks there, and then one of those cracks is that old folks' home.
Yeah.
Because you figure Alec was living up in the hills, and then Wes was doing his own thing. He's a master thief.
That was his house. Yeah.
Oh, it was his house. The old folks' home is his house.
It is, yeah.
I'm excited to get to get through chapter 4 now.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Yeah. So you bust out of town. You just run along the train track with your dog, like a little homeless kid.
Did Mr. T stop you?
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, careful of the trains, kid.
This dude looks like Mr. T. Make sure you don't get run over by the trains.
Yeah.
Mr.
So then
T,
Matt's favorite
make sure you
scene.
don't get run over by the trains. Nifty.
Yeah. Matt's favorite scene happens as you're walking through the desert in your train track adventure, and you meet a gypsy. You meet a gypsy that is a trans.
They're not gypsies. They're magypsies.
Magypsies.
So we're gonna add another checkbox to why this can't be unless they fix it.
This is I don't know. I think that this is one part that they would keep.
All right.
I don't know if they view it that way. I don't know if that's a consensus. I do know that people are awful wound up about the word gypsy being in it. So
gypsy's offensive now.
That's a strike.
Is that why they put they spelled it weird?
Well, no, they're mud gypsies, like magic gypsies. I'm guessing
they have magic blood. Yeah, that's how you get Lucas's powers. The gypsy just gives them to you.
Well,
in a
they
hot tub.
foreshadow this in 2 as well, chapter 2, when you first see the gypsies that, or was it no? When you first, chapter 1, then in chapter 1, where Flint goes and you talk to the head gypsies and like, oh, I know where they are. I taught the boy this attack.
Right.
Oh, because Alex is it Alec or Alex? Can someone fix me?
Alex.
Alex is a friend of theirs.
Yeah.
And they kind of like they live in like a seashell, right? And they're deities is the other thing. Like they're magical, like they're like the deities of this island.
Yeah.
But they're all very manly looking, and they're all dressing in very like
feminist,
flamboyant clothing.
Yeah.
And they use she and he interchangeably.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm really tiptoeing on this one because.
Yeah. But they're very. Most of them are a friendly bunch.
They get a little. They're definitely a friendly bunch.
Yeah.
Alec. Well,
right. There was one that hated you. I remember that.
Yeah.
But then Matt, I remember you sent us a picture, and I was like, oh boy.
So. The way I believe you get your powers is again through some kind of traumatic event or some kind of thing. And I think what happens is you end up in a hot spring with one of the gypsies. I think it's Ionia. And I think what the game is trying to say happens is you're held underwater, and then the feeling of drowning, it's kind of like a weird baptism, but then like the struggle, like the feeling of drowning is what makes you acquire your powers from within. Because I think I think Ionia can sense that you have powers. I think I remember reading that.
Yeah.
However, the game is very suggestive on what happens with this, I think now 13-year-old boy in a hot spring. And the dialogue is like, don't struggle, endure it a little more. Don't struggle. Just hold on. And it fades to black. And I think that's the part where it's like,
yikes.
It could be interpreted in various. The fade to black, I think, is what makes it like.
That's tough.
So they said if there was no fade to black, then it'd be like, okay, they're doing like a drown scene.
If they held them underwater and you saw it, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, you could put a small cutscene or something in this when you released it. Like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Now somebody's gonna squawk and say, "Oh my God, this man is drowning a 13-year-old. You can't have that in your game." And it's like, well,
it's that or the other
better than the alternative. So anyway, one thing, John, I was telling you is like the power that you get. I think it's like PK Love is what all the guides call it.
Yeah.
But in the beginning of the game, like you pick what your favorite thing is. So I was like, I don't know. I went through the list. I was like, Mount Fuji was an option.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it. Mount Fuji. I'll pick that. Whatever you pick as your favorite thing ends up being your magic power. So every time I do Lucas's power, it's PK Mount Fuji. PK Mount Fuji.
Drop some magic mountain on your enemies.
So I need to teach my son now PK Mount Fuji.
PK Mount Fuji. Yeah. So this is the one, John. Have you gotten to the Clayman factory?
Yeah, that was kind of funny. You got to work. You get money or you get a pass to the Titty Boo Club.
Yeah. So Nick, you want to go, and it's a club called Club Titty Boo.
Titty Boo.
Titty Boo.
Titty Boo.
And in order to do that, you have to go up a gondola up to this club to go see this band.
Fancy.
Oh yeah, it's fancy.
Yeah.
But like people who work in this like factory job get a discount. And if you don't, you've got to pay an ass ton of money. So Lucas has to go get a job in the factory.
Yep.
So it's this rickety
child
old
labor
factory.
laws are coming in already.
All right, so hold on. Let's add that child labor. So Lucas gets a job, and in this job, there's these claymen that have been like reconstituted, and you electrocute them and bring them to life, and you make them do work.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay, so then you're kind of Frankensteining. So there's some mad science going on.
I wonder if these are the reject chimeras.
I think so. Because I think they're just like, they're there to work. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're kind of like slave. And like when they run out, I don't know if it's some kind of commentary on the modern workforce, but like when they get tired, you have to like grab the claymen and bring them and electrocute them and then send them back to work.
Yep.
It's like, well, it's kind of dark.
Does this kind of go into slavery as well?
Well, it has that feel, doesn't it?
Yeah. You have to shock them. You have to physically abuse them to go back and do more work for you.
So that's a potential. We'll put
touching
that
on a lot of themes here. I love trying to get in the club, and they're like, "Hey, bro, can't bring dogs in here."
That's your qualm. A 13-year-old boy can go to a strip club.
Yeah, he's fine.
Well, it's not a strip club. It's a rock club.
Yeah. John, it's a strip club.
Well, I don't know, because the princess is the main attraction, right? Like she's the dancer, and there's a band. Yeah.
Do you know what the band's name is? I had this queued up ready to tell you what the name of it was.
Tonda Dasa.
No, that's their thing.
That's how they say hi, right?
It is. So the name of their band is DCMC.
DCMC, ACDC. Yeah.
And it's short for Desperado Crush Mambo Combo is the name of the band.
Oh, I love it. Which
is probably named if you actually hit all the moves. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
But you want to go here. I forgot we didn't mention this. You want to go to this club, Nick, because there's rumors floating around town that one of the band members in there looks an awful lot like Duster.
Yeah, Wes sends you, actually.
Yeah.
You go to the old folks home, and Wes is like, "Go see if this is Duster for me." And you're like, "Okay." Little kid just going up to a strip club. Yeah, so you go in, and Kumatora is there. She works there, and she hooks you up with like her little suite.
Did you tell her you didn't want to take a shower?
Yeah, I did.
She gets pissed at you.
Yeah, come on now. And so this is where I did some grinding because the hot spring is right there, and you get poisoned like every 15 seconds. So yeah, I had to go back down a lot to saving money and all that. And you go around above the rock stage, and there's random enemies. And this was the hardest boss fight, by the way.
Dude, that fucking jealous bass.
Yup. He calls in two of his buddies, a broken drum and a lonesome guitar or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so you take care of those guys. I bought some of those pencil rockets. Those are pretty good. And so you wipe those guys out first. And this is the one where I won the fight where my odometers are both ticking down. Lucas died, and Boney was like, I'll bite you one last time. And then I won.
Dude, that jealous bass was Nick. I can't wait for you to get to the jealous bass because it is
you're gonna
such
hate your life. Yeah.
Oh, it's a wake-up call. Like I was so when you said like, oh, we gotta play this game, like, oh, this is a simple kids game, and then like just death and grief everywhere. And then I get to this stupid musical instrument, and I'm like, I can't remember an RPG where I struggled as much as like beating this goddamn bass.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Culex and Super Mario RPG, maybe? That was probably the hardest boss fight I've ever had.
I can't remember. I'm getting my chapters mixed up because I can't remember where this one ends. Because I know you fight the bass.
Yep. And that's it. And then you get a little flashback. You fall down, or like you jump down, and you're in the band quarters, like their suite, and you get Duster out of his funk, like his memory back and all that.
Yeah, because he has amnesia.
And so you get Duster.
Did he still call him Duster?
His name's Lucky.
Lucky, yeah. And he's a great bass player. Magically, he just knows how to play bass very well. And you get his whole flashback story about how he stored the egg in a dead clay man. And then he stumbled around, and he just stumbled into the rock club, and they're like, get out of here. And they start to kick his ass, and they're like, no, wait, we'll take him. You know, that was pretty
He just
grim.
joins the band.
Yeah. He's just stumbling around like, I need help. And, so he's in the band for a while, and they all play one last song, which was funny. He's looking at him, and he had an afro wig on. I remember that.
Yeah.
And he's just watching him, and he takes it off and he walks out.
So
that's it.
I don't know if you guys. So DCMC is not done. Okay. They play a big part in this because everyone in this game is obsessed with DCMC.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that a lot in the later chapters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nick, you have made it through, I think, the 3 worst parts of this game. So, like, the first chapter for me, like, that was a dick kick of emotion. I was like, oh crap, I can't believe they did this in this like kids game. Like, John, what have you done to me? And then like Duster's quest is kind of a slog, but it's lighthearted, and I like Duster. And then you get to fucking Salsa and Fassad. It's like, when is this game ever going to start? I'm 10 hours into this thing, and I want to progress, and it's not happening. And it's like, now. It pretty much like once you, what would you say, John? Once you get past 4 is when things get like...
Yep. You get 4 people in the party, which is the max number you can have, and you just start just crushing it. Like, it's so much easier.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of these
past 4.
It's like, it'd be really great to have one other person to kind of, debuff this guy while I attack him, or attack while I get the other guys ready to debuff, or...
Yep.
So it's like, that's been a struggle. I'm like, because I'm expecting a RPG style game. Like I said, with the Earthbound, it starts off RPG. It starts off like you always have a character with extra character with you. It's not just you and Ness. It's just not really just Ness. So
Yeah. It's a rough. I would be curious, and I don't know if we're kind of probably near the tail end of this, but like if you had to rank this on your list, Nick, where about would it be? Because I want to ask you the same question when we get to the end of the next episode.
So if I'm gonna rank this right now, it's not doing too well. Like it's my bottom 3.
Bottom
Ooh.
3.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say this is top 10.
And just because it's such a slog to get through, like to play. Matt, you said to play 10 hours to get to the good part. And one of the reasons I've only got it at 4 probably right now is because I'll pick it up and I'll play it for half an hour. I'm like, I can't play this anymore. Like my brain can't handle this right now. Like, my brain just like. It's just like I'm like this is too like there's really no thought process besides grind. Now I'll say though what helped me get to 4 and get past 2 because 2 I was ready. I was like, you know what, F it. These guys can play.
YouTube.
I'm just
YouTube.
done. I'm gonna YouTube the shit out of this. And then I learned how to use Duster properly.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay. This is because I just kept on using his attack. I didn't use any of his specials. I mean, I knew what Staple did, but Staple wasn't working on any of the ghosts.
No.
So I'm like, okay, well, that is the only thing I knew, and I didn't really knew what the tools did, the thieves' tools did. And then I like read up. I'm like, oh, that's what they do. So I was going through all through that chapter with just until I got to the conductor to just using. Attack button.
Yeah. Matt, what
Nick,
about you?
You're number 3. You're like 3 on the bottom 3. John,
bottom 3.
You were top 10. Even so, the first 4 chapters you were highly ranking it.
I love the story. It's funny. I like the I don't know what the word is, but the putting everything together. You know, in the beginning it starts out differently because one of my favorite things was Final Fantasy III, where you have the 3 quests in the beginning, and
it's like the river. It's like the raft when you get separated.
Yep, and it's like you pick who you want to start with. That was so much fun. So yeah, I say top 10.
So I was closer to Nick. I would say my first 4 chapters, this game was in the bottom half. I'm not saying it's the bottom 3, but I was prepared to say that this game. I think I sent you a text. I'm like, this reinforces everything I hate about Earthbound.
Yeah.
It's gimmicky. It's shallow. The battle system's dumb. It's a first-person RPG like Dragon Quest, which is like lame. I want to see all my characters on a field. I don't want to see this like first-person bullshit with a trippy artwork in the background. Like, I was like, this is just another game where everyone overhypes it, and I'm sick of it. It was the first 4 chapters. Really, like I say, the first 3.5 chapters.
Yeah.
Extremely low on my list.
So I'll have to stay up a little bit later tonight, and then this weekend I'll slog through to get through. I'll get through, and I'll start enjoying this game then.
Yeah, once you get past 4, I mean, the second half of 4, once you really get once you're in Titty Boo, even though it's a bitch, it's kind of fun.
I think what it is my expectations of this game, like Matt, it's, like you said, like how come this game is hyped so much, right?
Yeah,
and like I'm using also my previous experience with Earthbound. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be Earthbound, but different characters, just different story. Great, awesome. Where the fuck is my PK freeze, or where's my psi abilities? And I'm like, why am I using all these stupid attacks? Why am I just attacking? Like, son of a... Why am I using this raw? I'm like, this is getting just so monotonous and so... Like, it feels like it's a chore just to play.
Yep.
And...
I felt it.
I was like, what's going on with this? So, and I literally just got into chapter 4, so let's see.
It's if you're like me, John loved it the whole way through because the story was enough to keep him going. But for me, it was like a switch flipped because like at the same time I figured out what I needed to do in the battle system, and then I got a ton of party members. I'm like, okay, I can tinker with this. Like this person is this job, this person. And then at the same time, it's like, man, the story just like, it's a slow burn. So you get really that halfway point in this game. It's like, oh, everything I've done before that I was bitching about that I thought was a slog and was meaningless and stupid, it has some meaning. Like it's setting, everything is being set up in that first, but you got to put in the work in that 10 hours.
I died a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can't. Our next episode's going to be good because like I think our next episode, Nick, I think you'll be a fan.
But okay. So let's call this end of chapter 2, part 2, chapter 1, and to go into chapter 2 for us to talk about chapter 4 and.
None of those numbers made any sense to me.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I've been up since 4 a.m. You know, I've been up 4. I've been working I worked till 4 today. So,
yikes.
But okay, if this is you're promising me, Matt, and that's good because if I can take this promise, and when I see you in just a short of a week, well, like let's say, like pretty much a weekend, like 2 days. So not this weekend, but next weekend, then I'm not happy. I'll just beat it out of you.
I started again closer to you. I've far enough in the game. I'm moving closer to John. Like
awesome.
This is good shit, Maroki. It's good shit.
All right. I'm gonna push stop.
No. Nick's got to do our socials and our takeout and all that other stuff and talk about
take out. Let's take us out.
No.
So, guys, stay tuned for part 2 where I completely flip and love this game because, actually, here's my other take. I think I started hating this game for one reason and one reason only as well. And I think it's because John said he liked it. So I think naturally when John says he likes something, I automatically start hating it.
Body Harvest part 2.
Baby. Yep.
Like, so... John, if you say you love something else dear to me, like my mom, I'll probably start hating my mom even.
That's bold, sir.
Drago Fanger.
I'm just kidding. Playing on the mom thing. So socials, we have some updates. Obviously, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Matt does all that shit. I have done jack. I think I might have posted one thing actually at this point, maybe 2 now. But we're adding something else. We are adding a Discord channel. You'll see the link to join our Discord on our socials. This will allow us to develop a community of retro gamers and develop this podcast and ultimately develop into a truer community to see where this goes. You'll actually be able to communicate with me, John, and Matt. And again, any complaint, this will also give you the opportunity to truly complain to John firsthand.
We should set up a chat for complaints.
Yeah,
just exclusively have John in it.
And he'll be there. So we'll get that all going. You can follow us on any place where you listen to your podcast. You know, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google. Give us a listen to the reviews. Any complaints until you join our Discord, please send them to John. He loves it. He lives it. It gets him hard. Do it. Anything else that I'm forgetting, Matt, John?
I'm satisfied.
So after Mother, I guess I'm introducing I have next game, and I want to say now, but I guess I had to save it for part 2.
Do.
I'll leave a hint. How about this? It has Mega in the title.
Oh yeah, Mega Man X. Awesome.
Yeah.
Fucking right, Nick.
Mega is in the title, and it's played on the best system ever.
Super Nintendo, Mega Man X.
Mega Man X. That's great.
Yeah.
So at the end of 2, stay tuned. Thank you guys for listening. Catch you up next time.
See you guys.
Bye.